It's oh so quiet.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the artists with the most distinctive vocals. Number 20, David Bowie.
Ground control to Major Tom.
He built his entire career off unconventional choices, and his singing is likewise unconventional. Inspired by both theatrical singers and rock stars, David Bowie drew from several wells when it came to creating his own voice. The more he progressed in his musicianship, the more his abilities flourished. One style he adopted was switching octaves during songs, highlighting the differences between his rich lower register and his more distinctive upper range.
Wonder if you'll ever know who's in the best-selling show.
This skill also gave him the ability to tackle a variety of genres, rather than staying in one box. His effortless versatility gave him an edge among his peers, which was apparent in all his work up until the end.
Ain't that just like me?
Number 19, Janice Joplin. In rock and roll, there never was a more important female voice than that of Janice Joplin.
You don't know, honey, you don't know.
Cashing out at only 27, Joplin left a body of work that would inspire musicians for generations to come. She had a strong personality and incredible stage presence, but it was her voice that really forced people to sit up and pay attention. It was one of a kind. It had a hoarseness to it, but that only added to its soulfulness and dynamic qualities. Whether delivering a quiet, passionate line or bringing the fire with a high note, she never failed to leave a lasting impression.
You know you got it.
Number 18, Tiny Tim. No, we're not talking about Bob Cratchit's youngest son, though this iconic American singer's voice could have just as easily originated from his fictional namesake. Tiny Tim was best known for his hit covers of songs like Tiptoe Through the Tulips, though more so than any individual songs, he is remembered for his unusual voice. He could work a falsetto alongside the best, and did so in a warbling vibrato delivery that was sure to turn heads at each and every performance.
Don't think about me, I'm just as free as any daughter.
If you're ever feeling low and in need of a pick-me-up, there's no voice more welcome or infectiously upbeat than that of Tiny Tim's. Number 17, Freddie Mercury.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday.
There's never been anyone quite like him. Despite technically being a baritone, he sang most of his career as a tenor and could cover every role between bass and soprano. He could also switch between them without sounding strained, changing the tonality of a line at the drop of a hat. His immense range is only scratching the surface of his talent. His vibrato is unmatched and was found to be more comparable to those of opera singers than rock musicians. Mercury used his incomparable talent to create some of the most beloved anthems in modern music history.
Nothing really matters to me.
Number 16, Amy Winehouse.
They tried to make me go to rehab. I said no, no, no.
Many pop stars, women in particular, are known for utilizing higher or more dulcet tones, which only made Amy Winehouse stand out even more. Her unmistakable alto voice immediately set her apart from her peers, and her 1960s-inspired sound gave her a style that hardly anyone else was utilizing at the time. She also blended together several different genres at once, creating a musical landscape that seemed molded to her.
We only said goodbye with words. I died 100 times.
Beyond skill alone, the emotion she infused throughout each piece highlighted the unique aspects of her ability. She was able to bring modern and retro stylings together to create an incredible technique that hasn't been replicated since.
Yeah, you know that I'm know.
Number 15, Eddie Vedder. His voice has become one of the most emulated in alternative rock, and it's easy to see why. His telltale growl became his calling cards early on in his career and helped Pearl Jam dominate the grunge scene.
He hit me with the surprise laugh.
Although it may have sounded like he was yelling during his early days, he still exhibited a level of control that made it easier to enjoy his music. He also put more focus into belting out the lyrics than into focusing entirely on the notes, which gave his performances an emotional angle that has lasted even as his abilities have developed. Several artists have tried to emulate his snarl, but none have been able to even come close. Number 14, Johnny Cash.
Love is the burning thing.
Sometimes you can just hear someone sing and know exactly what genre they dominate. Johnny Cash is one of the best examples of this. His deep, twangy accent has become synonymous with classic country music. He also has the ability to make anything sound gritty, no matter how upbeat.
'Cause you're mine, I walk the line.
While other male singers had a deep voice, his had a sonorous quality that made it instantly recognizable. His modest personality seemed to bleed through into his work as a musician, coloring his discography with a humble air that only adds to his authenticity as an entertainer.
I would find a way.
Number 13, Chris Cornell.
I don't mind stealing bread.
Chris Cornell needs no introduction. His discography in the 1990s and 2000s made him a bona fide legend years before his passing. His voice played a huge role in that legacy, especially his ability to hit several notes in just one song, spanning almost 4 octaves. His voice was one of the most genuinely impressive, not just within rock, but in music as a whole. Rather than just focus on his lower timbre, he experimented with various falsetto variations and other vocal stylings, such as chanting. It didn't matter if he was creating solo albums or performing with a group. Every number he sang was infused with his distinctive touch. Number 12, Cher.
Won't find out until you grow.
She first came to the world's attention in the company of musical and romantic partner Sonny Bono. But after stepping out on her own, this pop singer's powerful pipes and unique vocals earned her the title Goddess of Pop. Over the years, she's experimented with a number of musical styles, including folk, rock, disco, new wave, and power ballads. But you always know you're listening to Cher. Her contralto voice is characterized by a deep, resonant quality that, unlike most lower register voices, is heavy on the vibrato. Theatrical and passionate, Cher's voice never fails to make an impression. Number 11, Louie Armstrong. Identifiable by both his voice and his trumpet playing, Armstrong first made a name for himself with his distinct style of playful and creative trumpet playing, which, in the jazz music genre, is saying a whole lot. Of course, it's his voice that we're here to talk about, and boy did he ever have a voice of his own.
I see trees of green.
The music industry isn't exactly short on gravelly-voiced singers, but Louie's voice goes into Cookie Monster territory, deep in tone and rough beyond belief. But when he's singing What a Wonderful World, there's no other voice you'd want to hear.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Number 10, Robert Plant. Zepp fan or not, you know who you're listening to the second that those vocals come in. Robert Plant is one of the most influential voices in rock history. Many have tried to imitate him, but few have succeeded in coming anywhere close.
Oh, babe, babe, my.
The reality is, with such a wide range and that ability to hit piercingly high notes with seemingly little effort, there aren't many vocalists out there who can compete. They simply haven't got the vocal cords for it. His howl became the gold standard of not only his generation, but generations to come. And there's no other quite like it. Number 9, Nina Simone. This influential voice rang out loud and clear during the American Civil Rights movements.
Don't tell me, I'll tell you.
Her direct and undaunted lyrics resonated with countless individuals fighting for equality. But it wasn't just the words she said that caught the attention of the masses. It was the way she sang them. With a voice falling into the contralto range, Nina embraced the nuanced and unpredictable qualities of her voice, allowing its unpolished qualities to shine through. Nina Simone was an absolutely phenomenal singer who, rather than obsess over perfection and self-control, sang out unfiltered and unrestrained. Number 8, Axel Rose. Another rock god, another set of pipes that can leave a listener speechless. In his prime, the iconic GNR frontman somehow managed to ooze masculinity despite a distinctively feminine style of dress and a womanly vocal quality, and outclassed his peers with every note. His range spans roughly 6 octaves and, depending on who you ask, covers more ground than Mariah Carey's. Whether or not you agree that he's the greatest vocalist ever, as some claimed, there's no denying that he's got a voice unlike any other.
So never mind the darkness, we still can find a way.
Number 7, Elvis Presley. There's only ever been one king of rock and roll.
Well, it's always crowded, you still can find some room.
Everything Elvis Presley did was to the beat of his own drum, and unlike anyone before or after him, from the way he danced to the way he sang. Sure, Elvis has inspired countless impersonators who've developed a knack for imitating his distinctive delivery, but no one can truly recreate that voice.
I can't walk out because I love you too much.
Gregory Sandow's, a music professor at Columbia University, once called it the most unusual voice he'd ever heard. Simultaneously a tenor, baritone, and bass, musical theory buffs struggled to classify him. But regardless of the label, he was unmistakably Elvis. Number 6, Barry Gibb. Fusing rock, soul, disco, and pop, the Bee Gees created a unique sound that sold millions of records. Although brothers Maurice and Robin also had the goods, it's hard to imagine the brothers Gibb without Barry's remarkable falsetto. However, Barry's trademark high notes weren't always a trademark at all. Once his falsetto arrived, however, it left a permanent mark on popular music. There's a lot more to Barry Gibb than the highs. The main body of his voice is distinct and engaging, but those upper notes give him a punch few others can throw. Number 5, Bjork. It wouldn't be a list celebrating eccentric voices without Bjork. Her soaring soprano vocals and delivery have helped to make her one of the most compelling and celebrated alternative artists working today. It's hard to describe what makes her so special. It's as though she goes out of her way to be as eclectic as possible, while still maintaining an identifiable sound. Though she has a traditionally higher range, she maintains careful control over it. This creates a slightly discordant effect that makes her all the more compelling. It's hard not to listen to her without feeling like you're being transported to another time or world, which creates a truly immersive musical experience.
So what's the use? Of falling in love.
Number 4. Barry White. How low can you go? Probably not as low as this legendary R&B, soul, and funk singer. Others may have gotten as low as Barry White, but few had anywhere near as smooth a delivery. White has been the voice of seduction behind countless romantic evenings in. When his music comes on, you know it right away, because your clothing has already hit the floor and candles have appeared out of nowhere. That voice just sends chills down your spine in all the right ways. There's only one man that bass baritone could possibly belong to.
I'm waiting on you. Believe me, I am patiently waiting on you.
Number 3. Michael Jackson.
She was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene.
The whole world got to watch his voice develop in real time. Starting out as a young child, Jackson had a typical upper register, which he used to make hits before he hit puberty.
Oh, baby, all I need is one more chance.
As he grew older, it shifted from a soprano to a tenor, and his mature style began to form. His breathy and seemingly restrained technique not only contrasted with his earlier work, but also set him apart from virtually every other performer. Once he implemented his famous stutters and scatting, it was over for everyone else. As he changed with age, he was able to adapt and create an entirely new niche for himself, a testament to his sheer talent.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
Number 2. Bob Dylan.
John is in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement thinking about the government.
He may be best known for his incomparable songwriting, but his voice has also helped him become a standout musician in many generations. Its quality changed for the better throughout his career, morphing from nasal and untrained to coarse and weathered. While he doesn't have the most technically perfect tone, his evocative way of delivering lyrics makes up for that. Dylan wasn't trying to create the most gorgeous or melodic pieces. He was cultivating an artistic experience, and he excelled. His deliberate harshness only served to make his art more expressive. Dylan challenged the idea of what a singer could sound like, breaking unspoken rules for famous entertainers that had been in place for decades.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Tom Waits. While he himself may joke about the quality, there's no doubting his voice is unique. It can best be described as guttural, which makes it perfect for the darker atmosphere he celebrates in much of his work. Waits completely breaks vocal conventions with his harsh, masculine timbre, all while creating an undeniably unforgettable vibe.
Well, I see you tonight, all downtown.
He's carved out a place within the soundscape that can't be replicated. What makes him all the more interesting is that he didn't always sound like this. On his earliest release, his voice is more traditional compared to what followed.
My time went so quickly, I went lickety-split.
This unexplained change only makes his newer variation more interesting. and proves how far he's willing to go to adapt it. Which musician do you think has the most distinctive voice? Let us know in the comments below.
Don't call me daughter, not fair to.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.